Oh, how are you?
Hi Mark, how are you?
I'm good here. What's up? First time using this platform here.
Oh, yeah, we are using this platform to streaming our live to several social medias. We're gonna be live on YouTube, on X, and on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome.
yeah, I want to say thank you for your time that you're attending us, and it's so I'm so grateful for your to having you as a guest in here. And just to those who don't know, Mark, it's an MBA Metropolitan University, co-founder on Toronto DeFi, French Tech, uh, La French Toronto, and Collider X. You're doing
Yeah.
so many things, and
I
it's
like to keep I
surprising
like
how
to keep
you're.
things moving in the right direction. And I love
That's
to work with
great.
the right people and people that are trying to change the world.
Oh, that's nice. And I'm pretty sure that you're one of them who doing it. And honestly, from my opinion, you're one of the greatest researcher in the space in the Web3 and DeFi who I know. Could you please introduce a little bit of your experience and where did you start it, how you get into the blockchain, DeFi,
Mhm.
and how the journey began for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Great pleasure. So I started my career as an educator, actually. So I was in love with math. I was in love with social impacts, with helping out people, and I was on path to become an engineer. I was on a very selective program. I was thinking, okay, what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, and I decided to be a teacher. So that was
Oh,
very important to me. I ended up teaching in different countries. Really like anthropology. I really like to understand how our brains work and how in
yeah.
helping people from to move from A to B. So when I arrived in Canada, after I'm gonna skip a few chapter here. I guess you're
Yes.
gonna have to read my bio, full biography when it comes out.
Sure, we're gonna
But
share it, and we're also posting like s- in Medium regarding your experience, your journeys.
yeah, so I mean to
Guys, to read
the
more.
story, so the story short, like when I arrived in Canada,
Yeah,
like many immigrants, I went back to school, right? Which is great. You go
yeah,
back to school, you learn, and you build your networks, you get a local credential. So I always wanted to, to go into IT. So I took computer science. So I went back to school. That's where TMU actually. I think
yeah,
it was the best school for me. A lot of night courses. They make things easy. Professors excellent. A lot of them became long-time friends.
oh,
Um, and then after I got a scholarship. You were asking about the MBA. Well, I got a
yeah,
scholarship from Ted Rogers' family,
oh,
and got the MBA there the second year. I love to try new things. So I'm thinking, well, let's do an MBA that's nobody knows about, and must be cool to work with people that have some great vision there. And so during my studies in computer science, I was following a lot of these news on Slashdot at the time, and talking about digital money, and probably saw the launch of Bitcoin at some point. I was too busy, unfortunately, to do a lot of mining. But yeah, here you go, Mt. Gox, all these episodes. But then at some point when Ethereum came up, I really felt very interested, and I thought I was working at the time for a consulting company, and they asked me to check it out a little more. And I thought, well, now is the time that blockchain is coming to enterprise. So that's where I jumped in, both feet in and all in. And that was maybe around 2015, around that time. I've been a little more engaged, and looks like our host here disappeared. So I'm really wondering, like, if I'm just alone here or if it's streaming. But here you go. I can speak all night long, even if I'm alone here. But yeah, the blockchain space has been an interesting journey, a new technology. A lot of people trying to understand what that means, and at the end of the day, I felt at home because as an educator, as a teacher, I felt a lot of people need to really trying to understand what blockchain is all about. Is it going to change the game? And I felt that I was just at home trying, doing my best to explain how this technology work, what it means, and what is the impact on the business, on every single industry. So Yusuf, sounds like you're back.
Sorry, yeah, we were disconnected. I'm so sorry.
No worry, just I'm making the show alone here.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, that's nice. So you finished your education, and when it was like, how long you have been in the space? How long you doing the blockchain education?
Yeah, so I was starting my education. I was taking night courses, right? So I took
Yeah.
basically another like full degree, like night courses. I was doing a lot of courses. And that was like early 2000, and I probably saw the launch of Bitcoin around that time. I was really, I mean, busy working, doing other things, and learning. I was like, unfortunately, didn't have enough time to mine at the time. But when I saw the Mongox and Mongox again, and when it
Oh, I
broke,
see.
and I was just saying when I joined a company dedicated to open source. I'm a big fan of open source, computer science. Of course, you have to be a big fan of open source. As an educator, you have to be a big fan of open source because that's code that you can read, you can modify, you can play with. So that's the dream for a professor, right, or for a student.
Yeah.
To open like the engine and see how things work, and actually build on top of it, and do it better.
Yeah.
So I was working for this open source company, which still exists today. It's called Savoir-Faire Linux, and they had developed something like a Skype or Telegram or WhatsApp. It's kind of a
Yeah.
chat and video and text chat, audio video chat that is decentralized. And they used BitTorrent, so a decentralized
Yeah.
network, to share the IP, share different things, do firewall piercing, all this technical stuff, so that people actually can talk without having a central server, whether
Yeah.
without having to call Skype, Microsoft, or somebody in the middle to the switching. And at some point, they encountered some difficulty to improve the user experience, because you had to use like long hashes. That's not human readable, not something you can memorize or even write on a post-it correctly. And when they wanted to do some basic username, like Marc, something like that.
Yeah.
And they thought that Ethereum could be the database, right? So they were almost like thinking Ethereum name system, like before, like early days.
Yeah.
So they used this as a distributed database to keep the entire infrastructure decentralized. And the name of the product today changed its name. The name is called Jammy, GAMI.net. So if you check it out, it's actually a package, free software package. It's open source, and it's packaged by the Free Software Foundation. It's a GNU package. And it's getting better every day. So feel free to check it out. So at that time, the developers told me, "Hey, you in Toronto, you should hang out with these people from Ethereum." I said, "Yeah, great idea. I was just waiting like for the sign, you're telling me I can do that during my work day, on my company time." I say, "Of course, I'm going to do that." And that's where I realized that Ethereum was kind of getting ready to get into the enterprise. IBM was there. Anthony Diorio, one of the co-founders of Ethereum, was getting to the TSX. Some of the consulting companies were getting really interested. The Blockchain Research Institute, Don Tapscott, Alex Tapscott, just released the first book. So there was kind of a momentum building, and this technology was entering the fray of other technologies. Like today, like we have AI, we have quantum. I mean, right, quantum is starting. We have all kind of different technologies, serverless, robots, and all things. So at the time, like blockchain was just starting to come up as a big thing, as a real thing.
So it was like almost a decade ago, right?
Yeah, but just about a decade ago. Yeah, that sounds fair. Like a little bit less as a decade, but I mean, we can round it up, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting. Like, I remember a project, it's called Golem. I think they're still existed. And they're also doing like kind of cloud storage on blockchain. And I used to follow it. And what were your role in the project? What did you do?
So it's funny you mentioned Golem because I'm gonna do like a for the audience here.
Yeah.
You're right on. Actually, this was the topic of the year last week at Consensus. Consensus is
Oh,
one of the largest conferences for blockchain
yeah.
Web3. Tons of projects doing something like Golem, which is a
Yeah.
decentralized AI. So I see
Oh,
like I'll name a few like Sebo AI was pretty interesting.
yeah.
GaiaNet. There are a few. Actually, one of them like won a prize. So decentralized AI is really the idea that instead of having all your servers on Amazon or Microsoft or GCP, Google
Yeah.
Compute, or wherever you like, what if you could actually distribute the workload and have it run in different places of the world? Incentivize those machines, the people that actually run this equipment, pay them, of course, for the light and the hardware. I mean, for the efforts, the contribution, and bring back the result to the person who is running the workload. Right. So very,
Oh.
very, very topical. And which now that's a big parenthesis. So just remind me the question you were asking about.
No, we just chit chatting, so we don't have like a fixed question, so no worries about it. And back to the topic, what's your opinion about the blockchain and AI integration? Is it not dangerous? Like it could unstoppable, like if implementing some AI into a blockchain and he can learn or do whatever he wants there. What's your opinion about it?
Yeah, so my perspective, from where I come from as an educator, a computer scientist, I'm looking at this as a tool in the toolkit, right? So yeah,
Oh,
can it be dangerous? Yeah. I mean, if you're a plumber and you have, a hammer, a screwdriver, you don't ask yourself, could this be dangerous? Of course, it could be dangerous if you
yeah,
start taking your hammer and just banging the head of your neighbors. That's not a good idea. It could be dangerous. So blockchain or AI or anything else that you use like poorly with bad ethics, not only is dangerous, but yeah, it would definitely harm some people. That's why in AI, we're a little bit ahead of the game here because Canada is actually a leader in responsible AI.
yeah,
I'm very proud also that France also kind of leading the way as well. So that's about the responsible use of technology. Uh, in uh, in the blockchain space, a little bit different because you have a lot of the development have been somehow spawned by open source communities. So it's kind of a self-administered, very decentralized, very democratic. It's a kind of a continuation of the open source ethos, where it's based on meritocracy. You contribute code as a developer, it gets accepted or not. Eventually, people rally your project or they don't. Then it becomes a little bit complicated when people start putting tokens or putting their own money in your project, because then the regulators are starting to think, oh, okay, now this is a money thing. That's not a development thing anymore. No.
thoughts, yeah,
So we're getting into another realm.
yeah,
But really, it's about people getting together and building the infrastructure for the 21st
yeah,
century, right? So this is happening naturally in open source way. You're going to say in AI, there was a lot of open source as well, like Mistral, Llama, and
yeah.
Yann Lequin, who is the head of AI at Meta, and also a distinguished compatriot Frenchman,
Oh,
is is actually defending the open source AI, which is I'm also hoping that I mean I'm not yet looking very far down the scale, but big proponent of open source. I think it's key to maintain those systems open, both for many reasons. For always the same reason, which is you want to give access to everyone in the world, like a kid in Mongolia, in Africa. You want to give them a chance to actually learn it and contribute to the global economy. So that's a matter of equity for me. The second thing is a matter of security. Open source has proven that, yeah, you open the code. It sounds a little bit counterintuitive for a lot of people, for non-technical people, but yeah, you open the code. It's actually a good thing because more people look at it and they tend to fix the problem quicker, rather than this proprietary code where nobody really looks at it. You just hope that some people do audit it correctly, and if there is a bug in there, it stays in there for a longer time. So there are many advantages to the open source, and I just hope that AI, although it's a critical technology and a lot of countries are racing to empower themselves of this to become stronger politically, economically, all those things. There's a lot of stakes, high stakes, but I do hope that we're going to keep things reasonable and that a lot of things will remain open source.
Yeah, like more community based. And yeah, you're right. I think the world, the IT space is going into that way. And now we can see much more companies who are deciding to do everything in open source. And yeah, thank you. That's all. That's really interesting information.
Open source has won. Open source has won the game. I've been open source, in my own, way from like before 2000. When I was working at the government of Ontario, I was kind of pushing open source from also inside. We had some very nice open source projects, like some wikis running out. Like you want to engage your employees, you want to engage thoughts, collective intelligence, and this is all part of the same thing. You need people to talk and collaborate, right? So this is what open source provides. But around 2015, I still remember when I was working at Software Linux. We had a partnership with Microsoft, and they were, it was a time like Azure was just kind of getting started. And our friends at Microsoft, they were telling us that people were using a lot of Linux in there. I'm pretty sure that was not the idea at the beginning, somebody at Microsoft launching Azure to run Linux. But at the end of the day, they realized that's what people wanted to run. It's cheap, it's effective, it gets better, more people can tweak the code and adapt it the way you do it. That's free software. That's the full spirit, the full idea of free software, the ability you can tweak it yourself, but also you can get rid of other foreign platforms. You choose your technology, you adapt the technology. So actually behind me, there is a kind of a data center, and I'm working with Exaion at the moment. Exaion is a subsidiary of the EDF Group, as it says here. EDF Group is the largest utility company in Europe. I think it's top 3 in the world. So that means they're running nuclear sites. The company provides electricity, and Exaion is a startup that came out of the venture fund. We're the deep tech company, so we provide data centers, AI, quantum, blockchain, anything that makes compute flashing, 3D, remote desktop, cybersecurity, right? And it's very high grade, as you can imagine, when you have to deal with nuclear sites and energy grids for an entire country, or more renewables and all those things. So one thing that's actually very important is we're using open source to actually secure the entire stack. By meaning we control all the software that is running on top of the hardware. So provides something we are very confident running, and gives the highest degree of confidence to customers like banks, large institutions, government that care a lot about having their data protected and secure.
Oh, that's very interesting. And can you share with us some of your significant challenges that you're facing during your journey in the technological side?
Yeah, I mean, challenges. I mean, if you just first thing it comes to mind, since we are just talking about open source, I mean, some of the
Yeah,
challenges that I experience in larger institutions, I'm talking a government, for example, also
yeah,
large institutions in general, they they are hard to change, and
oh,
there's little to gain if you're a manager in a large organization. It could be a client, could
yeah,
be a client, could be the organization where you work. There is for these managers there is very little incentive to make radical changes,
yeah,
and very big disincentive if you fail, right?
I see.
So anything new, it's a hot potato, and it's almost like nuclear. So so any change that you want to drive, bringing an open source solution or a radical technology, disruptive technology like blockchain, AI, quantum, is gonna raise a lot of eyebrows.
Yeah,
There's this saying like nobody gets fired buying IBM. That's because IBM had, the hardware in there from kind of almost like the beginning, meaning nobody wants to get rid of stuff that is there to put something else. And what if it fails? Right?
yeah,
So that's kind of the main challenges, and turns out that that's a challenge that I like because again, as an educator, my job is to help people understand
yeah,
what would you like to change, right?
yeah,
Why you need to change. Maybe at some point you need to change even faster because your data is at risk, or because you have competitors that are gonna, take you out, right? So
yeah,
you, it's there's of course there need to be a reason to change. There need to be a business reason,
yeah,
but sometimes change is something you have to do, and you have to then master the process of change. But the really the hardest thing, because the delivery is just a technical issue. So you have a good team, you can deliver something very neat within time, delay, budget, everything. But the hard thing is actually convince individuals that are not technical people that really wonder, okay, what are you talking about? What's quantum? What's AI? What's blockchain? What's digital human? That it's if you in their mind, blockchain might be just a box, right?
yeah,
So it takes a lot of time to actually get them there to really understand what this is that we're talking about and why it matters to their business.
yeah, yeah. To make people to change something, I think it's the most difficult part, especially if you're doing running something really new. So you mentioned it about your current project where you work now, the Exion. Is it somehow related to blockchain DeFi, what you're doing in DeFi Toronto?
Yeah, definitely Exion is a deep tech subsidiary of EDF Group.
Yeah,
So the team basically we have data centers, we do private cloud, we work with business clients that care a lot about their data. They want their data to stay within the country. They want their cloud to be sovereign or the data center to be protected. Um, and they need a lot of processing power, right? And
yeah,
they want it clean. They want it to minimal impact for on the environment, and that we have some of the lowest carbon footprint in industry. So we're like a little bit like AWS. People say, "Are you like AWS?" We have computers, we have cloud, we have data centers, but we're not doing retail.
yeah,
So we are working directly with very, very large companies that have a lot of needs for AI, for data crunching, for big data. That needs a lot of lights to be flashing. And that's where we're creating custom solutions that
yeah,
are secure, eco-responsible, and provide high performance computing. So one of the first things that happened at Exion when they started the company about 4 years ago in 2020, the team recycled some supercomputers from France, and they started to run some blockchain on it.
oh, yes,
And yeah, so right now we are doing like RPC nodes. So if you want a very fast, you want to interrogate the blockchain, or you want to do things on the blockchain, you can actually call some API endpoints through these RPC calls, a little bit like others do, like if you are Blockdaemon, QuickNodes, and some others. So we do that too. We have a website. It's actually node, node.exion.com. And it's a self-serving, and we have very generous free tiers. You can check it out. We also have developed indexing, staking, custody. We're going through certification in Europe through MiCA at the moment. So, and on the enterprise side, like we involve in R&D for enterprise blockchain. So we are working with the Energy Web Foundation to track energy. Like we're looking at tracking energy, tracking hydrogen, tracking carbon. For the carbon credits, this kind of thing. So these are like international large-scale projects that we're actually looking at putting in production into these big energy companies. And maybe when they're in Canada with Toronto Hydro, like who knows? But that's kind of the R&D, the future of utility companies.
So this is you working with the Canadian government as well, or it's only related to European countries?
So we have Exion. We have offices in France. We have offices in Canada, in Sherbrooke, Shawinigan, Montreal, Toronto, Calgary opening, Palo Alto in Silicon Valley, and we are actively opening more sites. We have 2 data centers in Canada, a few other data centers in Europe. And we are busy working with international partners. I mean, this is at this point, like these are like very large group for that matters. And in Canada, you were asking. Well, one of the first projects we've done is build infrastructure for the province of Quebec, where they provide some kind of high performance computing cloud for startups and business that want to try out AI. They want to test their AI. They want to test their quantum. So we build up and manage the servers there to give them access to a private cloud. And it's subsidized by the government. It's run by a nonprofit called PINQ, PINQ, and it's cheaper. So I mean, cheaper. There is free. I mean, some of the big hyperscalers, they give you free credits. You cannot beat that. But it's more affordable if you are looking at real price. They also do special packages for universities that they want to try out AI, quantum, and so forth. So I think the University of Saskatchewan, if I'm not mistaken, just signed up. So I'm talking to some of the universities out there that are outside of Quebec to see if they might be interested. I'm talking, of course, to big players here in Ontario. We are also very active in Alberta at the moment. It's so Pink is a great partner. And if you're actually going to be in Quebec next Tuesday for a PIC conference, lots of financial services institution, large enterprise that want to know about quantum. We're going to do a little bit of a deep dive on quantum. So that's actually the next chapter, is definitely quantum. Maybe we have this chat next year. Is going to be 100% quantum, maybe quantum AI and blockchain, you see.
Yeah, that all goes together. And quantum is another huge topic, which is really interesting. And we still like don't know anything about it, so there is a long way to learn about it more.
There's some kind of
AI tools that you're using for your life base by yourself?
Yeah, it's actually, I mean, everybody knows by now, should know about ChatGPT, right? So one limited factor with ChatGPT is that your data can go with the wind. So you want to use proprietary information in ChatGPT. So what our team has done is build some kind of a ChatGPT, but inside the company. We're just playing with it this morning again. So it's basically within the wall of your company, within your firewall, in your intranet, no data leaks, and you can have access to some of these models. So this morning we were playing with Mistral, with Llama 3. So same interface. I know if you're not familiar, if any of you are not familiar with this. I mean, it's like ChatGPT. Basically, you ask a
Yeah.
question and you get tokens, and it just answers for you. We have some. We're playing with some other models that are actually capable to run diagrams. So you give it a logic diagram, some kind of IT diagram. Say, well, tell me what it does. It will actually explain what the different software components are doing. So it gets you into a little bit the software engineering, and then you can ask the model, the LLM to write some Python code, and it will do that for you.
It's just doing it directly.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
it's pretty awesome.
amazing. Like how the world is gonna change soon. Do you believe in singularity?
I can be convinced.
Yeah.
I'm just a learner. I want to see where this whole thing goes. But yeah, we have to keep our eyes open for sure.
Yeah. All right. So I know you have a lot of grateful students or who are learning from you and uh, from your community as well. Is there any project which is to take your eye on and some interesting stories about them?
There's a lot of projects. So I'm also an advisor at Creative Destruction Lab. That's a program that's coming out of U of T actually, but
Yeah.
now has really become so successful that it's really went in multiple countries. There are multiple streams. There is a Web3 cohort. I think the
Yeah.
deadline for submitting applying is today.
Oh,
So if you're seeing this right now and you have a startup early stage and you want to apply, it's up there, Creative Destruction Lab. This year, the program is in partnership with U of T and
yeah.
HEC Montréal.
Mhm.
So I'm seeing a lot of very cool projects there. The mentors are absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah.
In the room, we have like Scott Stornetta, whose name is listed 3 times in Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper.
Oh,
So
really?
I mean, check it out. Out of 8 references, you're gonna see
Yeah.
Scott Stornetta 3 times out of 8. Pretty awesome.
Oh, I didn't know it. It's so interesting.
And we have VCs, we have like serial entrepreneurs. Ethan Bushman from Cosmos is in there. Mathieu Baril from Octave. I cannot cite them all. There's a lot of smart people there. It's very humbling. And VCs, some people from some of the top Canadian banks. So very solid mentors. But I mean, the startups that come in are absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah.
Next week is going to be the super session, and actually in 2 weeks going to be a super session here, and I think some
Oh,
videos will eventually be published at some point. Like very nice very smart founders.
awesome. And how did you get together all? Like so many smart people, and it's so excited that you all work to build and to find new startups to like build a better future. Uh, how did you get together? Like,
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you get together. It's like a magnetism, you know.
yeah,
If you yourself you're interested in things and you're actually doing things and you're trying to launch a startup, a company, you're involved, whatever you're doing, whether you're a developer, a marketing person, more like a business founder, a business development person. If you want to make yourself also useful, you're gonna be attracted with people that can use your skills and vice versa. So you just find each other just by nature of life. So my advice to students, if
yeah,
you're a little bit, you feel you're on the side, you know what to do, where to start. Well, get to talk to a startup, any startup. Try to make yourself helpful. There's no wrong choice, and just do something. And you're gonna learn where you're gonna need to learn, because people are gonna hear about you. You're gonna get some. You extend your networks, get more people. So you're gonna know where the next project is. You're gonna get some experience. People are gonna be interested by you. A lot of people, of course, we're humans, like to chat about what we're doing, so we kind of learn a lot from each other. So that's how you actually get like growing growing yourself into this ecosystem.
in the system. That's nice. And how are you keeping yourself update of the market, like on the blockchain in tech in general? How are you
Hmm.
getting the information?
Yeah, that's a great question. Very good question. It's actually a tricky one, actually. But I do subscribe to some of these courses online. I really like, for example, O'Reilly. I mean, they moved from print to online a long time ago. They were, basically the main publisher for IT books. So I kind of stick with them. I love what they do. They were talking about AI and AI applications way before AI. I mean, you have all access to all these conferences, these books, these talks, these webinars. So you can be way ahead of the game. And now you have like these MOOCs like Coursera, edX, and everything. So you can just take courses, get involved, take few certifications, go back to school constantly. That's important. And
Yeah,
today, I mean, you have YouTube, and YouTube, there's a lot of good stuff on YouTube, very good podcasts.
yeah,
So you go to conferences, you to share with people, you see some good speakers you like, they have a podcast, or you talk to your friends, they point you to different directions, and you share notes like this, and you end up having a lot of different sources, and you can identify the people that are actually a little bit ahead. Like right now, like I really recommend you watch the breakdown of the latest presentation from NVIDIA.
okay,
There are a couple of YouTubers that do a very great job of breaking down the presentation of NVIDIA CEO,
yeah,
into 10 to 20 minutes, what really the big things are. And it's stunning. I share it with my MBA students.
yeah,
You have to look these digital humans. You have to look at these robots. This is absolutely
yeah,
crazy. A thing I actually shared also in the classroom is the figure one robot.
yeah,
That's crazy. There is a good YouTube video from Cold Fusion.
yeah,
Is doing a pretty good AI. So
yeah,
check that one with the figure one robot. It's pretty crazy.
yeah. So, from your opinion, what is the next uh, cool technology which is going will comes up into the society?
Yeah, I think the next one that's gonna come, is really quantum. Like our engineers, they're telling us like this is real. EDF has a training desk for commodities in the UK. So that we're using that on the trading floor. We the thing about encryption also is a real thing. Basically quantum computers can potentially break traditional encryption,
Yeah,
which basically is all you use today to go to your bank online and to encrypt your data. So it's kind of a big thing. It's a little bit of a Y2K event where basically the systems, the way they work today and the way they're secure today can be at risk, right?
yeah,
So, and you're going to find that there's a lot of smart people or uh, interesting actors out there that downloads a lot of the internet
yeah,
so that they can decrypt it later, right?
yeah,
So yeah, so if you so that's concerning. So that's our priority right now is actually we are starting to educate about quantum. We put some sessions, some working groups in motion. Like there is a working group right now that I'm leading for C-level executives so that they understand about quantum. Of course, they are not physicists. Very rarely. I would be very surprised to see a PhD with someone with a PhD in quantum, like running a big bank or anything like that. But so we're breaking it down for C-level executives to say, okay, why does it matter? And where is it? Like, is it 2 years from now, or is it 20 years from now, or somewhere in between?
yeah,
What is working today, right? What do you have
yeah,
to care now? So there's this group there, and we also have like an accelerated training for people who have more time. We take them through
yeah.
an accelerated path. We take 10 months of training into 6 months. So people can learn about the basics of quantum physics down to the use
Oh,
cases, what's good for, and some of the applications down the road. So and Exion, also we have a number of quantum computers in our data centers. We have Quandela computers, Pascals
Oh,
coming in, access to IBM System One, which these computers are here in Canada. So so not only we are giving the education a little bit, but also providing people a mean to test their software, make experiments on different technology, and actually we'll that's what so some of the leaders from Canada loves it because actually we brought with us a couple of companies like Quandela is a good example. They have set foot in Canada, and now they are also investing here in Canada, and they have like I said, they have like 3 computers in Canada, on Canada's ground. So it helps Canada stay way ahead on the global scene about quantum, and that's a pretty good story, and we have to keep it up.
yeah, that's definitely it's gonna be the future. And I went in similar like courses from IBM as well,
Mm-hmm.
and they like kind of gamified all the math and all the quantum physics, and it was so nice, like really great experience. And uh, I hope you can share the links as well, so we will share it to our public as well. And yeah, I'm pretty sure
No,
there's a lot of people interested on it.
absolutely.
All right. Mark, tell us why DeFi? Why you like running the DeFi Toronto, and which is your favorite project in blockchain now?
Yeah, so DeFi Toronto is a group, is a non-profit
Yeah,
group for the purpose of learning. We started the group in 2019. That was before DeFi summer, right? And a lot of the co-founders, they are actually more expert in finance. I'm more like the tech guy, so I don't have my
yeah,
CFA, at least not yet. It's not in plans in the short term in any case. But yeah, we have Victor is ex
yeah,
CPPIB, the pension plan, and we have Alim who's working right now at Delft on the DeFi protocol, and you have people working at Virgo. I mean, so the team is really about because we know a little bit a lot of the key people in blockchain and DeFi. We invite them to speak once a month.
yeah,
We record this, and now we started to post this on our YouTube channel. If you just look at DeFi Toronto, you're going to find us
yeah,
on YouTube. You're going to find us on meetup.com because every 3 months we are doing a live event, and we're doing that at 111 downtown Toronto next to the CN Tower at 325 Front Street West. And we pack about 150 people there, uh, developers, marketers, OGs in blockchain, but also like newcomers that want to learn a little bit about what's going on, what those things are about. Um, and we just learned more about this. So that's what I got into DeFi, because I think well, for me, DeFi is the next step after Bitcoin, right? If you're a
yeah,
purist and you look at how blockchain started, the killer app is Bitcoin. And this is about, if you read the title of the paper, it's not about getting rich in 5 minutes.
yeah,
It's about a peer-to-peer uh, cash, system,
yeah,
right? Peer-to-peer payment, right? So
yeah,
it's really a revolutionary system that allows you to send money digitally without having to bring a paper note or a gold bar or going through a bank or a third party. It's peer-to-peer.
yeah,
So this is revolutionary. So once you have this, it means you have digital money. The core of the system is that coin, that's digital money, that is worth something. People are still wondering what is this worth, but is this worth something? People are actually paying for it.
yeah,
um, Once you have this coin, this digital money, what do you do with it, right? So of
yeah,
course you want to do the same thing as in banking. You want to do savings. You want to do lending. You want to put your money to provide some revenue one way or another, right? And that's where DeFi comes in. It reinvents some of the service lending borrowing that you use at your bank. And people are now creating some of the same products like options, for example, perpetual contracts. So they're reinventing some of the things and they're inventing like new things. So you have protocols that guarantee you, for example, a fixed rate if that's what you want. And the beauty on all of this, from a computer scientist point of view, it's all of this is programmable money. So you can script it and you can basically make it like very more efficient. You could bring AI on it. You could bring some AI agents on it. So you could do a lot of very interesting things now that you basically digitize the full financial system. Is it scary? Yeah, it's scary. It's scary for banks. It's scary for the traditional actors. Of course, every time there is a revolution, people are wondering like, oh, you're taking it away from me. Of course, not happy. So it's a change. The regulators are a little bit scared also because they need to understand, right? They want to protect consumers, so they have a hard time trying to learn, how that is. Like everyone, we are trying. It's a new thing, so we're all trying to understand what that means and how we use it properly. But we're all learning together. It's all about making the world better and more equitable.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And you, as a person who work closely to government, is government really trying to learn about the blockchain in DeFi and implementing it, or they just fighting it? How it looks like?
Yeah, this is very very interesting question. I could take that one like from many angles.
Yeah,
I mean, the funny angle is that they have to, yeah, they care.
yeah,
They have to deal with it
yeah,
because not because they want to, but because people, like for example, bad actors are using it. So there was a call for proposal from RCMP because now I mean, they confiscate, let's say, they confiscate some bitcoins, or they get, from the bad guys. What do they do with it, right? So now they have to deal with it.
yeah,
So this funny part, they are drawn into this for this side. This is a little bit the funny side. But if you look at the story of blockchain, like the Bank of Canada was very early in doing some projects. So some people say as early as 2012 to have some questions.
Oh,
In 2014, you had a digital coin from the Bank of Canada called a cat coin.
really? Oh,
Yeah,
it's still alive?
2014.
Oh my
So
God.
I
Like
remember
almost
reading about this
one of
on
20 tokens who were at that moment, right?
uh, so it's fascinating because I mean it's a frequent story in Canada. We have very smart people, very highly educated people. They figure things out, they investigate, they take initiatives, and they come up with prototype ideas and everything.
Yeah,
The thing where we are trailing behind the US is where it's really about commercializing
yeah,
and taking a company and making it big and getting the market. So that's where we have a little bit of catch up to do, but we're very very early, and no, there's no surprise you find Canadians all over the world in Silicon Valley, now in
yeah.
Singapore and some other countries, Middle East, because we're very very smart people here, very well trained.
I'm totally agree with you. That's all right.
Yes.
Uh, Mark, the last question would be, can you please explain a little bit more about your speech on our upcoming event on 15 on June? What you're gonna talk about and what insight the audience can get from your speech?
Yeah, well, I hope I define a bit the contour, right, of what we've
Yeah,
been talking about. I don't want to steal the thunder, but I really want to take the audience into, okay, what's a blockchain like? Is that real? What has been done? Where are we today? And what is that we see, and what's happening in industry right now, and where we're going next in next couple of years, and 2 to 5 years. That's what I'm hoping to convey. Hopefully I will able to encourage and motivate some people to pay more attention to blockchain and maybe do a career in blockchain.
Yeah, that's definitely. I know you can do this, so I'm so excited to hear this from you, and of course, have us like a little bit more chit chatting, networking as well. We're gonna have different guests from who comes from US, from Europe as well. So it's gonna be fun event. Everybody, if you don't know, 15th of June, heart of University of Toronto. We are welcoming all of you to learn more from Mark, from other speakers. Just have a good networking, fun, and yeah, just have a good weekend.
Yeah,
All right.
look, this is so far it's been a blast working with you, and it's very well produced. So I'm looking forward to this conference, and being part of it is a privilege. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much, Mark. Thank you for your time, and I wish you a blessed evening and weekend. And yeah, see you
Same
soon.
to you. Same to you. Have a nice weekend.
You too. All right. Bye.
Bye bye.